Ah, what do you think? New set, new like everything, kind of. Not a fan of the mic stand being like in front of everything. And I'm like still like adjusting everything. But we're back, baby. The camera's all the way over there now. Yeah, new set, pretty cool. My old set is like right there. So basically the format of my basement is there's like a wall here. Um, and a wall here, obviously. This is like the main big wall across. And I just moved some stuff around because I wanted to have a bigger area because I was crooning a lot of things for a podcast set, and I couldn't, the wall just wasn't exactly big enough anymore. And now I have much bigger area. So obviously there's some key additions to the set. You can now see Ferris, and this is the statue of Ryan Sandberg, and this is my water. It's Liquid IV. Shout out to Liquid IV, not sponsored by the way. Over here, this picture, we have a Bryce Harper. My brother got that for me for I think Christmas a couple years ago. And this I bought at I think it was at a yard sale years ago. This is Roy Halladay. Um a picture of him in the Powder Blues in Milwaukee. I remember that game. That was crazy. They were the Powder Blues on the road, but um, yeah, I've had that picture up in my room for a while, and same with the Harper one. And I kept looking at it, and there wasn't really a place for it, and I really, really wanted to change the setup a little bit. And kind of get back to my roots a little bit. And obviously, the Philly fanatic is still here. It is now more prevalent than it was in the old set. There's a lot more room for it here. Um, but obviously the Phillies flag in the back being, as for a while I had it straight up and down like all season. Now I'm back to having it across. Kind of a throwback, an homage to the OG set that we had when I kind of started doing this. Not or started doing this in my basement and not in my room in secrecy. It's like one of those things when you were a kid and you would like work out in secrecy, like nobody, you didn't want anybody to know what you were doing. That's kind of how I was for the first couple episodes of this. And I had some help. Obviously, Ashlyn helped me out with like moving stuff and figuring out what should go where and everything. So shout out to her. I love you. And there is a thing that's missing. The Reese Hoskins jersey has been returned to my closet. I just thought it was time to hang it up, so to speak, in theoretical terms, of course. And if I keep accruing things and getting things, I have some other ideas that maybe a shelf for a lot of Phillies memorabilia that I have and other things. But for right now, this is the new set. I'm a big fan of it. I will toot my own horn to that. I do enjoy what this set looks like and turned out, and it's just a bigger space and you can see everything, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool, right? So yeah, big day today. Sorry, this mic is like being super annoying trying to set up. But it's fine. Might be getting a new microphone soon. I'm not sure exactly. So keep an ear out for that, I guess. Sorry, I gotta well, gotta stay hydrated, kids. All right. So in today's episode, we got headlines, the series overview of the Royal series. Phillies took 2 out of 3. Unveiling of a new series because the other one is over because I ran out of names. Unveiling of a new series in later, and then wrapping up with the series preview against the Washington Nationals. And before we get started, reminder: this Thursday, yes, this Thursday, the 1 year live stream extravaganza we will be going over. I don't know if I want to do the entire series overview in that episode of the live stream, because I, maybe I will. I don't know. It might be 2 episodes on Thursday. Or I might do one Thursday and one Friday, because I'll have all my stuff with me. If you don't remember, in the last episode, I won't be here doing this. I will be at Ashland's in her basement doing the live stream stuff, because she is moving, so I need to be there. But she is lovely enough to make me a little area in her basement, so I'll be able to do the live stream for you lovely people. So shout out to Ashlyn. So again, won't be here, but I will be doing the live stream. It's either going to be on YouTube or TikTok. I'm not exactly sure which one will be the best medium at this point. You think I would figure that out by now, but for right now, it's on YouTube. But if that doesn't come to fruition, it will be the live stream on TikTok. So be sure to I will keep you guys updated throughout the week if anything changes. But for right now, it's on YouTube. 1 year live stream. We'll be watching the Nationals Phillies game, 6:40. I'm very, very, very excited for that, and it's crazy what a year can do. I'm gonna get deep for a second here. A year ago, I was kind of always wanted to do something like this. Always wanted to talk about baseball with people, and because it's my favorite sport ever. I grew up watching it with my grandparents and my grandfather, and he's really the one who got me loving the game of baseball and the Phillies. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to take that leap. Until one night I just said, you know what, screw it. Let's do it. Let's find a name. Let's start this. Let's make a logo. Let's do all this because I want to do it. And here we are a year later. I'm just so thankful and grateful for every single one of you people out there. Whether you know me personally and are following me that way, or if you're just a fan of my content, I am forever grateful for everything over this past year. Going from doing it all on Instagram with my headphones, and now to doing it with a official camera, a microphone, and a set and everything. It's insane how much can change in a year. And who knows where I'll be in another year from now. But I just wanted to really give my deepest thanks and gratitude for everything over the past year. It's been awesome, and here's to many more years after this. So now that the cheesiness is out of the way, we can get to headlines. So we have a few headlines. Griff McGarry, one of the Phillies' top pitching prospects, was promoted to AAA. In 51 and a third innings between single A and double A this season. He has a 3.14 ERA. His past couple outings have been a little rocky, but I think the Phillies trust that the best way to go through these struggles is to work on it in AAA. And, he's that much closer to the major league level. Would not be surprised if we saw him in September, especially seeing how the Phillies bullpen has been the past couple weeks. They might try to get, just a fresh arm out there to eat some innings if need be. I project Griff McGarry to be a bullpen option, at least right now in his career. I do believe he is the Phillies starter moving forward. But if he needs to be in a bullpen role or a long relief role right now, if he can tackle some big innings down the stretch here and saves guys like, Alvarado and Kimbrel and Soto and Strom, save those guys a day, I think that'll be the best course of action. And who knows, he might just spend the rest of the season in AAA, start the season in AAA next year, and maybe he'll get to call up next year. I do think that if we don't see him in September, it's a lock that we see Griff McGarry in the majors in 2024. I think that's a pretty safe assumption that all Phillies fans kind of agree with. We then had the news on, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday, that Cole Hamels has announced his retirement. Cole was the World Series MVP in 2008. And what a career, man. He was a part of the Phillies, then got traded to the Rangers. Then he went to the Cubs, then to the Braves. And then where did he go after the Braves? The Dodgers, and then the Padres. I feel like I'm missing a team in there somewhere. I feel like I am. Am I missing a team? Padres. Dude, my immaculate grids. Oh, I didn't do the immaculate grid today. Damn. Am I missing a team with Cole Hamels? I don't think I am. Okay, on my back. I hope I'm back. Oh, my microphone doo-dooed out. I really hope this audio that's happening right now is through this and not through my laptop. But if it's through my laptop, sorry. Technical difficulties do happen, but hey, it's fine. It's fine. But yes, congratulations to Cole Hamels on a great career. I'm sure the Phillies are going to sign him for like a 1-day contract, and he'll be retired as a Philly. And I'm sure his number might be retired. Obviously Drew Ellis wears 35 right now, so I don't know if they plan on retiring 35. They should. 6, 11, 26, and 35 all should be retired by the Phillies, and I think everybody would agree. Andrew Vasquez, who was DFA'd couple days ago, was claimed off waivers by the Detroit Tigers, so therefore concludes the Andrew Vasquez experience in Philadelphia. Noah Song cleared waivers and was returned to the Boston Red Sox. Unfortunately, I touched on that in the last episode. It was just a matter of when. Now we officially got the announcement that he's been returned to the Boston Red Sox. And then in more unfortunate news, Brandon Marsh has been placed on the 10-day IL with a left knee contusion. Weston Wilson has been recalled from AAA to take his spot. I'll talk about this when we talk about game 2, but he had his best Aaron Rowan impression, banged his knee into the wall there, and Rob Thompson said it's going to be a few weeks before we see him back, which sucks because he was swinging a hot bat and has just been, a centerpiece in this Phillies offense and defense. So gonna be not great without Brandon Marsh, but we have Johan Rojas, who's probably going to be the everyday center fielder mixed with Weston Wilson, and I'm sure they did mention that Christian Pache was on his way back, so I'm sure Pache will be tackling some games in center field and left field once he's activated off the IL. So let's get into it. The Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the Kansas City Royals. Really should have been a sweep if the so-called ace of the team was not a absolute frigging clown. The scoring got started. My player of shame was that said ace. I'm not even going to say his name. I probably will. Aaron Nola. Bum. Aaron Nola is such a freaking bummer, dude. 5 1/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts against the Kansas City Royals, the 35-win Kansas City Royals, who have like 1 good player. Actually 2, because they found a new Philly killer. But it's fine. Literally Bobby Witt Jr. And then who else after that? 5 earned runs in 5 innings against a very bad Kansas City Royals team. It's just unacceptable for a guy who's claiming, who at the beginning of the year wanted $200 million this offseason. Get the hell out of here, dude. I am not touching Aaron Nola with a 50-foot pole come the offseason unless he rattles off the rest of his starts being 1 earned run or less. I'm not touching Aaron Nola with a 50-foot pole. He has been a disaster this season. And he's really the only weak link in this Phillies rotation right now. Wheeler's back on track. Walker had a ballsy performance today after getting touched up early. Ranger Suarez is on the right track back. Christopher Sanchez, yes, he got beat around yesterday, but that was inevitably going to happen, but he's been more good than bad. Michael Lorenzen in his first Phillies start was dominant. And then you have Aaron Nola. And at this point, I'm not starting Aaron Nola in a playoff game if they get there. I'm not, because he's been a choke artist all year. Can't keep the ball in the yard. He has a career high in home runs given up, and he's not even in September yet. It's unacceptable. I'm not giving Aaron Nola another benefit of the doubt situation. I'm not doing it. He's going to be the Kyle Gibson of the pitching staff if they make it to the postseason this year, because I don't trust him. I'd much rather throw Christopher Sanchez out there than Aaron Nola. Call that a hot take all you want, but I think a decent amount of Phillies fans would agree with me, because Nola, he just dookies the bed all the time. Just surrenders the long ball, gets in his own head. I don't know what the hell his deal is this year, but it's been a constant thing. I saw a stat that of his 23 starts, 11 of them have been quality starts. Kyle Gibson has 12 quality starts this season for the Baltimore Orioles. Put that into perspective. You know, Aaron Nola has been a freaking train wreck this year. Can you imagine how great this team would be if Aaron Nola was the pitcher we saw last season? Or even in 2021, who was fine. Nola, might be arguably his worst season of his career. I mean, okay, maybe not, but it's bad. You know, it's bad. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's physical. All of his stuff is still playing. I don't know what the Phillies plan to do with Aaron Nola come postseason time if they get there, but if I'm Rob Thompson and if I'm John Middleton and if I'm Dave Dombrowski, and I know obviously they're not going to do this, I'm handing the ball to Zach Wheeler game 1. I'm handing the ball to Taijuan Walker game 2, and I'm handing the ball to Ranger in game 3. And then maybe Aaron Nola. We don't know exactly what kind of pitcher we're getting in Michael Lorenzen yet, so I'm not going to jump that gun yet. But dear God, man, figure it out. You are a big leaguer, man. And this is a contract year for you, so maybe is that playing into it? Possibly. But Jesus H. Christ, Aaron, figure it out, dude, because 5 runs in 5 innings to a terrible Royals team, an all-time bad Royals team, is unacceptable. I can't explain it any easier or any simpler than that. That stuff just can't happen. And you let it happen. And of course, during the 1-year live stream extravaganza, Aaron Nola is pitching, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I can't wait. But the scoring got started with the Castellanos 2-run home run. Casty seems to be running the ship. Thank God that July Castellanos was a fluke, because he's hitting, I think, 280 in August so far. So he's looked like he's back. You had, I think this moment was the moment of the year so far, was the standing ovation to Trey Turner. He had that bad game in Miami. Then the Phillies fans and Phillies personnel like Jack Fritz and others on Twitter rallied behind Trey to put in motion that we as fans want Trey Turner to know that we have his back, that we are there for him. You're our guy for 11 years. And yes, this season has been brutal, but we're going to be with you here, man. We're not against you. We just want you to be the player we know you can be. And there's a mental thing side to it. I touched on it countless times with Trey Turner, especially after reading the Roy Halladay book about the mental side of baseball that I don't think a lot of people really take into consideration. And what the Phillies fans did by giving Turner that ovation sent chills all throughout my body. And I was smiling ear to ear, because this is what Philly is about, is standing behind our guys, getting behind them and saying, hey, we got your back. We know this is hard. We know this is a bad time for you, but you don't have to worry about us turning against you. And I think that is so powerful. And you saw the quotes after the game, and he had a pretty good series offensively, and defensively he looked great. And I think he just needed that little extra, like, hey, like hand on her shoulder as the city of Philadelphia, and said, hey, we got your back here, man. Like, you're going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. And if that is what it's going to take for Trey Turner to turn it on, then so be it. And I couldn't be happier with what transpired there, because that's just awesome. And then you had the Stott quote after the game talking about how the media doesn't want to see Philly in this light, and they just want to hate and talk about, the Santa Claus thing that happened like a century ago. And to see guys like that, and I have some notes about, oh, that's the AC. Sorry. I have some notes about Bryson Stott, but it's just awesome. And the players were rallying behind Trey. Casty was waving the flag around when the ovation was going on. Stott was wearing a Trey Turner shirt. Like, everybody got his back. And I think that is just such a weight lifted off of his shoulder that yes, obviously we want Trey Turner to perform, but that fear that we're going to turn against him is lifted off of him. And that's awesome. That's such a great moment for baseball. And it was just so awesome. Like that, you don't see that often in sports. We saw it last year with the Alec Boehm thing with saying, I bleep and hate this place. And we've seen the player that he's turned into, and he is on an absolute tear right now in the 2-hole. And it's just awesome. And if we can get that from Trey Turner, especially during this crucial stretch run here, if we can get Turner hitting like 280 to 290, that's going to be huge for this team moving forward. And because they're doing all this practically as Turner as a black hole. And like I said, he had a good series. I hope this is the jumping off point for him to get right. But it's just awesome to see that. And if the Phillies can get Turner right, this team is dangerous. Because like I said, I keep saying it, you're going to get what you're going to get with Schwarber. Bohm in the 2-hole's a different player. Harper's turning it on. Casty's back. Real Muto has been shaky, but Stott's a star. Marsh before he went down was hitting well. And even with Rojas swings a great bat. You have Sosa, who's fine. You have Jake Cave, who's fine. But if they get their stars rolling, and I think that's kind of the outlook they saw during the trade deadline, was we don't need to trade for a bat because our stars are going to be stars when the moment is right. And I think Philly fixed one of their stars in Trey Turner. So that was just a great moment. And after that, of course, because Aaron Nola can't live with the moment, gives up a 2-run home run to Bobby Witt Jr. to tie it up. And then the aforementioned Johan Rojas RBI double in the 4th to make it 4-2. And then the wheels fall off in the 6th inning. Michael Massey solo home run to make it 4-3. He actually got booed off the mound after Rob Thompson removed him. He left 2 runners on. He was booed off the mound. So maybe we need to give Aaron Nola a standing ovation so he can get right, because dear God, he's been brutal. Followed by Freddie Fermin. RBI double in the 6th to tie it. Then Darian Blanco, RBI single in the 6th to make it 6-4. Turner had that big RBI to make it 6-5. And then you had Blanco again with a safety squeeze in the 8th to make it 7-5. It was just brutal. The Phillies were squaring the ball up really well, but it was just finding guys all the time. I felt like they would square a ball up and the center fielder would make a great play, get a great read, great jump, or the ball was scorched, but it was right at a guy. It was just one of those games. It was very, very frustrating. But I think my biggest takeaway from this was Dylan Covey pitching a scoreless inning. Just baby steps with Dylan Covey. There's a reason he's on this team, and I trust them, but I'm hesitant to trust them. But I mean, if they want to keep Dylan Covey around, there has to be a reason for it. And so far, the return is hasn't been terrible. Well, what about that thing in Miami? Wasn't his fault. Should have won the game if Turner made the play. Yeah. So it was an annoying game. You had Marte inning in 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Hoffman, an inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and Covey, as I said, with a clean inning. So that was that. Then we get to game 2, which was electric. I was actually at work during this game and today's game, but I was, keeping tabs on my phone, of course, and watching everything. Phillies won 9-6. My player of the game, Trey Turner. How can it not be Trey Turner? So Bohm got the scoring started in the first with a 2-run home run. Harper was then thrown out at home on a Casty hit for the millionth time, feels like. Then Freddie Furman, who is the new Freddie Freeman, solo home run in the second. And then Stott with an RBI single in the third to make it 3-1. Then Furman again with a solo home run in the fourth to make it 3-2. I then mentioned the Brandon Marsh injury. He did his best Aaron Rowand impression. And then you had the wheels fall off really in the fifth. You had Blanco with an RBI sac bunt, Michael Garcia with an RBI single, Bobby Witt Jr. with a ground out, and Michael Garcia scored on a throwing error by JT to make it 6-3 Royals. And now the wheels are falling off. Sanchez, 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. The strikeouts were there, but this start was inevitable. There was no way in hell that Chris Sanchez was going to pitch with the 2.6 ERA the rest of the year. So this was inevitable. I just didn't think it would be against the Royals, but I guess it was. And then following that disastrous 5th inning, Bryce picks the team up, says, hey, we're not out of this. Bryce, 2-run home run in the 5th. And then we get to the moment of the game, in my opinion. The 6th inning comes around, runners on first and second, nobody out. Trey Turner comes to bat. And on the first pitch he sees, wallops a 3-run home run. And Philadelphia and Citizens Bank Park goes wild. Trey Turner it was awesome. And he got the curtain call and everything. Like, I am so happy for that guy. Hopefully, fingers crossed, coming out and coming out of this extended slump in this bad year to be like, okay, Phillies got me. And now I can focus on baseball. I can focus on being the guy that I know I am, the career 300 hitter, and just everything else will just come naturally. And it was awesome. Everybody lost their mind, and it was what a freaking moment. I have that in my notes. What a freaking moment. And then he followed it up again in the 8th with an RBI double to make it 9-6. It was just so sick. And then Craig Kimbrell came in, slammed the doors. ERA's down to 3.19. I remember when it was in the high 4s. And for a reliever ERA to go down that much, you got to do some work. And he's down to a 3.19. He's been awesome. He's been honestly one of the best free agent signings, which did not think in a million gazillion years that Craig Kimbrell would be one of the better offseason signings. But here we are. I mentioned Sanchez in the pitching department. Strom tackled 2 clean innings. Dominguez pitched a clean inning, gave up a couple walks, and then Kimbrell pitched a clean inning with a walk in the 9th. But I mean, Sir Anthony getting back to who we know we can be. Yes, the walks are a little concerning, but if we can get Sir Anthony back right, and with Alvarado hopefully coming back soon, bullpen's going to be dogs, man. The bullpen has been great without their 2 best relievers there. When you have Marte and Covey and Hoffman tackling big innings, and Soto has been very off and on, but that's what you're going to get with Gregory Soto. It's just awesome to see that the Phillies' potential from a bullpen perspective is through the roof, because they got dudes out there, man. They got dogs out there, man. And then we get to today's game. My Phillies win 8-4. My player of the game is Taijuan Walker. I mean, Taijuan Walker was getting squared up in that first inning, and then casually just went out and pitched 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Like, that's awesome from Taijuan Walker. His ability to battle, and I touched on that in the Miami series, the last episode I had. His ability to just battle when his stuff isn't on, when he has, bad inning, his ability to just shut down and just go is incredible. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Phillies went after him as hard as they did in the offseason, was his ability to just get through starts, and 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs after that first inning is huge. Michael Massey had an RBI single in the first, Matt Beattie RBI single, and then Drew Waters with a sac fly. That all made it 3-0 Kansas City. And then it's time to have a conversation about Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott is a top 7, top 8 second baseman in the league right now, and I think nobody's talking about it. That kid lives for the moment, and I say that kid, he's older than me, but he lives for the moment, the big moment. He is one of the clutchest players that I have seen with my own 2 eyes. I mean, Harper's there, obviously, Schwarber and guys on that team, but from a young hitting perspective and all of the league, I can't think of a guy, and obviously I watch the Phillies every single night, so there's probably people out there that I'm not thinking of, but I have never seen him choke in a big moment. When the Phillies need a clutch hit, Stott is always at the centerpiece of it. When they have a huge comeback, Stott had a single in that inning, or Stott had the winning hit, or hit a big home run late. Stott is so clutch, and I think nobody really talks about him, and it's a shame because the kid can play. You know, Girardi didn't want him to play last year. He had that rough start, and after he got playing every day, he hit well over 300 at the end of last season. Now we're seeing it pay dividends now. I love Bryson Stott. He is such a baller, dude. He's a ball player. Like, you look at a guy, you know, it's easy to compare him to Chase Utley because that's the most recent dominant second baseman the Phillies have had. I would argue Cesar Hernandez, but that's just me. But it, Bryson Stott is not Chase Utley, but they are both elite second baseman. And I think it's awesome that hopefully with the season Bohm's having, with the season Marsh is having, with the season Stott's having, like, these young guys picking up the veterans is huge for this team. Because, you know, if those veterans play to their potential, the Turners, Harpers, Casty, Schwarber, and mixed in with this, the daycare doing their thing, the sky's the limit with this team. I mean, and I sound like a broken record here, but 3-run home run in the first inning to give the Phillies right back in this game because they go down early and the thought is, oh, Jesus, they're about to lose 2 out of 3 to the Royals. And is this team really that good? Should they have sold? Whatever. And then Stott said, I got you. Relax. Opposite field home run, the first opposite field home run of his career, believe it or not. But that's just awesome. Like, I love Bryson Stott. Then in classic Phillies fashion, they can't have a shutdown inning. MJ Melendez with a solo home run to make it 4-3. And then Kyle Schwarber in the second. Schwarbomb, 2-run, 5-4 Phils. And then we get to the third inning, and I forget who the infielders were. Pardon me, but Stott hits this ball up the middle. Second baseman dives, flips the ball to the shortstop, gets it, throws out Stott. And Stott's a fast guy. He's not like it's like Wilson Ramos running down there or Miguel Cabrera. Like, Stotts was hustling, and they made that play look seamless. Like, they practiced it 1,000 times, and they tried it last night to no avail, but it was like seamless. Like, got the ball, flipped it perfectly, threw out Stott. So shout out to that. And then to Rob Beattie, gave it right back. Bryson Stott made an unreal diving catch on a line drive up the middle to rob him. Schwarber was then thrown out at third. And then what happened right after that is Nick Castellanos hit a 2-run home run in the fifth to make it 7-4. Then Harper with a sac fly in the seventh to make it 8-4. And then, like I mentioned, Casty is hitting 280 in August. Pitching wise, I mentioned Walker, Soto, and Hoffman both pitched clean innings, each with a strikeout. So that's awesome. Just a great, just solid series, man. Felt like a get right series for a lot of players. Get right for Turner, get right for the Phillies bullpen, get right for God, who, holy, I just completely blanked out. Ooh, it was get right for Turner, get right for JT. Not really. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm like all over the place right now. I just got off of work, so I'm like out of it. But it felt like a get right series, just solid all the way around. Bullpen looked really crisp. The starting pitching was not great, but I mean, what more do you expect from Aaron Nola? And this Christopher Sanchez start was bound to happen eventually. So what are you gonna do? And that's that. Now it is time to unveil the new segment that is here. No more where are they now? No more of that. More like a rebranding of a series. Whenever I'm with my friends or talking to whomever on this podcast, Matt Saporsky, Matt Hartman, Will, Anthony, Naomi, any of them, I go, remember him? Now, remember him is pretty much the same thing as where are they now? That's the segment name. Remember him. Um, where we take a look at the Phillies starting pitchers since 2012, kind of the end of the the run, all the way up until this year. Just all the starters. If you made a start for the Phillies, you're in this. You are in this segment here. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be 3 pitchers from any year. Just how'd their career go? What are they doing now? And how they got to the Phillies and everything. So my first I got a list. I got a solid list here. My first guy is a World Series champion, 2-time World Series champion. My next guy is currently an All-Star in Japan. And the final guy might be the ugliest baseball player ever. And the Phillies are a hot team. Like, let's be honest. I'm a straight guy, but I have no problem calling a guy hot. You get Bomer, stud. Harper, stud. Casty, stud. Real Muto, stud. Stott, stud. Marshy, stud. Cave, underrated. Stubbs, underrated. Nola, get it. I hate him. Ranger, cutie pie. Anyway, this last player, not great for the Phillies, just period. Bad times. My first player originally was an Oakland A, kind of the forgotten member of the Phillies' dominant rotation of Halladay, Lee, Oswalt, Hamels. That, of course, number 56, Joe Blanton. Joe Blanton was drafted in the first round of the 2002 MLB draft by the Oakland A's. He is a fastball slider changeup curve. Made his major league debut September 21st, 2004. He spent 2004 to 2008 with the Oakland A's, 122 games, 118 starts, 670 and a 2/3 innings to a 4.25 ERA. So not bad. He then, at the July 2008 deadline, was traded to the Phillies in a trade that sent Adrian Cardenas, Josh Outman, and Matthew Spencer to the A's in exchange for Joe Blanton. Joe Blanton obviously went on to have a pretty solid rest of the season with the Phils, hit that big home run in the World Series against Edwin Jackson. And then spent 2008 to 2012 with the Phillies, 105 games, 100 starts, 616 innings to a 4.47 ERA. Then in 2012, in August, was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers, like everybody was in that Phillies, Rollins, Ruiz, Utley, Blanton. Who else was traded to the Dodgers? I'm sure that Michael Young later on, all traded to the Dodgers. But it was Dodgers got Blanton and the Phillies got Ryan O'Sullivan. Spent the rest of 2012 with the Dodgers, 10 games, 57 and 2/3 to a 4.99 ERA. Left in free agency after that season. Was then signed a 2-year, $15 million deal with the Los Angeles Angels. Spent only 2013 with the Angels, 28 games, 20 starts, 132 and a 2/3 to a 6.04 ERA. He announced his retirement after that season, but then after working out with some guys, decided to make a comeback in 2015, signed a minor league deal with the Kansas City Royals. At 15 games, 4 starts, 41 and 2/3 to a 3.89 ERA. He unfortunately was DFA'd in July. However, did receive a 2015 World Championship ring, so he is a 2-time All-Star. So there's a little trivia for you. Joe Blanton, 2-time All-Star, or 2-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. Trivia. Then, after being DFA'd, he was traded to the Pirates in 2015 for cash considerations, 21 games, 34 and a third to a 1.57 ERA. So not bad. So left in free agency after that season, went back to the Dodgers on a 1-year, $4 million deal as a reliever. 75 games, 80 innings to a 2.48 ERA. So really, really good for them. So really, really, really good for the Dodgers that season in relief. Then signed a 1-year, $4 million contract with the Washington Nationals in 2017, also as a reliever. 51 games, 44 and a third innings to a 5.68 ERA. Injuries kind of plagued him that season, and then after the conclusion of that season, announced his retirement from the game. So that's Joe Blanton for you. So immaculate grid, you got the A's, you got the Phillies, you got the Dodgers, you have the Angels, you have the Nationals for Joe Blanton. I just used Joe Blanton the other day. I think it was Nationals A's. I'm like, oh, Joe Blanton played for both of them. That's also good. This is also why I get very good rarity scores in the Immaculate Grid, is because of this series right here. Is because I look at the weirdest, most you know how many times I've used like Delos Garcia, Guerrera, excuse me, and like Heath Hembry on the Immaculate Grid, and I've gotten like 0.03% on them, a lot. So there you go. My next guy was a Phillies draft bust, like a lot of them are. That is David Buchanan. Buchanan was drafted by the Phillies in the 7th round of the 2010 MLB draft. Fastball, changeup, curve, cutter guy. Made his major league debut May 24th, 2014. He spent 2014 to 2015 with the Phillies. 35 games, 392 and a third innings, 5.01 ERA. In November of 2016, he was designated for assignment, so he is no longer on the major league roster. After that, he signed with the Tokyo Yakult Swallows of the Nippon Professional Baseball League in 2016. He actually spent 4 seasons there. I was counting on my hand like an absolute imbecile. He spent 4 seasons there, 79 games, 470 innings to a 4.21 ERA, left in free agency after the 2019 season. So not bad numbers, 4.21 ERA, pretty good. Then signed a 1-year, $850,000 contract with the Samson Lions of the KBO League, and then has spent 2020 and to current with them. He just kept signing 1-year deal, 1-year deal, 1-year deal. 102 starts, 632 innings to a 3.16 ERA. So really, really, really good stuff for David Buchanan. He was actually named an All-Star in 2023 for the KBO. So congratulations to him. Great that you're having a very successful career outside of Major League Baseball. I always love to see that. So that's David Buchanan. I believe in him. The comeback's coming. And my next guy is arguably the ugliest baseball player I have ever laid eyes on, and I apologize. I don't care. That is Aaron Harang, and I'm pretty sure everybody knew it was Aaron Harang. Harang was drafted by Texas in the 6th round of the 1999 MLB draft. I was born that year. Fastball, slider, changeup, curve. Did not last very long in the Rangers system, was traded to the Oakland A's in 2000. The A's got Aaron Harang and Ryan Cullen in exchange for Randy Velarde? Yeah, Velarde, maybe. I don't know. Made his major league debut May 25th, 2002 for the Oakland A's. Only spent a couple seasons there, 2002 to 2003. 23 games, 21 starts, 108 and 2/3 to a 4.97 ERA. He then was traded to Cincinnati, which I think a lot of people remember him being a part of the Cincinnati Reds. I was traded at the 2003 deadline. Cincinnati got Aaron Harang, Joe Valentine, and Jeff Bruch in exchange for Jose Guillen. Spent 2003 to 2010 with the Cincinnati Reds, 217 games, 213 starts, 1,343 innings to a 4.28 ERA. After the 2010 season, his mutual option was declined and left in free agency. Signed a one-year deal with the San Diego Padres in 2010. In the 2010 offseason, and 28 games, 170 and 2/3 to a 3.64 ERA. Then left and signed a 2-year deal in the 2011 offseason with the Dodgers. With the Dodgers in 2012, 31 games, 179 and 2/3 to a 3.61 ERA. He then was traded to Colorado in the 2013 offseason. Colorado received Aaron Harang. LA got Ramon Hernandez. He then was DFA'd by the Rockies and then traded to Seattle. So Seattle got Aaron Harang and the Rockies got Steven Hensley. So a lot of moving around for Mr. Harang in 2012. He was a Dodger, a Rocky, and then a Mariner. Spent 2013 with Seattle, 22 games, 120 and a third innings to a 5.76 ERA. He was DFA'd in August of that year, then picked up by the Mets in 4 starts to a 3.52 ERA. Left in free agency, then signed a minor league deal with the Atlanta Braves. 33 games, 204 and a third to a 3.57 ERA. So really, really good. It's pretty solid. Left in free agency. Then we finally make his final stop at the Philadelphia Phillies in 2015, 29 games, 172 and a third to a 4.85 ERA. And then he announced his retirement. I'm assuming I tried to see when he officially announced it, but I didn't see that anywhere. I could just be stupid too. But I think the funniest story to take away from Aaron Harang is in one of my college courses. It was one of those big auditorium rooms, that you see classic college, when you think of a movie college kind of thing. It's one of those classrooms. I saw someone with a Aaron Harang jersey. It was not a jersey. It was an Aaron Harang shirt, a Phillies Aaron Harang shirt with his face everywhere. And then I saw somebody tweet about that. And I literally commented, that guy's in my class. Hilarious. I should have asked him where the hell he got it and can I have it? I would have paid for it right then and there. And it would have been a set piece at this point. But that's remember him? That's the conclusion of the first edition of Remember Him. So that's the new thing going around. I don't have a tagline for it yet. So just remember him. That's going to be it. And now we're going to wrap up with the series preview against the Washington Nationals. It's a 4-game set. Ranger Suarez versus Trevor Williams, Zach Wheeler versus Josiah Gray, Michael Lorenzen versus Mackenzie Gore, and then Aaron Nola versus Patrick Corbin. That is the 1-year live stream extravaganza, and I think it's so fitting that Aaron Nola is the one to guide us through that entire experience. But you got to take 3 or 4. I mean, don't misunderstand me. This Nationals team is a scrappy team. They aren't as bad as people think they are. They are a scrappy team. You can see the framework of the trades they made, with Soto, Scherzer, Turner, all their big guys. You can see the kind of the framework of it. So maybe they're going to be the Orioles in 2 years, maybe, where all the young bucks come up and perform extremely well, and then they don't sign any of them and rinse and repeat. But you got to take 3 out of 4. They are not good, but they're scrappy, but they're not good. So seize the moment. You're at home, take 3 or 4, kick the hell out of them. And of course, the one game they lose is going to be the Aaron Nola start. Book that. That's going to do it for me. I will be back on Thursday for the 1-year live stream extravaganza, so don't miss out on that. I will keep you guys posted and updated if anything changes. But for now, that's going to be it. Please subscribe, all that stuff. Follow all socials down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one. See you.